flying on by right now. And I'm looking forward to this. Holy cow. I feel pumped up tonight. I really do feel pumped up. I don't know why, but it feels awesome. Like I feel alive. Alive.
Yep, the air's electric over here, too.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let the hair down. I don't want to wear a toque today. Oh, let's put that over there. Get the hair looking good. There we go. There we go. Now we're ready.
You got hair, show it off. You're not running around with a bald chrome dome.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you. I much love. Okay, Duke Caveman, hold on. We're going to get going here in about 8 seconds. Let's have a great show, everyone. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Let's do it right now. Let's not do it right now. Let's wait 25 more seconds because Dave screwed up. Dave totally screwed up there. See, I'm so pumped up for this one, man. I want to get it going. Mr. Catfish, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Cherry Pepsi Mike, how you doing? How's your clip-on tie doing? Here we go, guys. 5 seconds now. Now I got the right countdown. We're going to do this. Thanks, Andrew. Really appreciate the super chat. Here we go, everyone. Enjoy. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. If you want to take a listen to our archives, we have them free for you by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Duke and Caveman are pretty good friends. Not only are they great friends, but they have a great passion. Two buddies going to look for Sasquatch. Both are intrepid researchers of the crypto world. Both have had Bigfoot eyewitness accounts. Tonight we're going to go down those trails for Sasquatch. Duke alone has spent over 40 years researching this topic and has come to several conclusions regarding the type of creatures that are out there. And our good friend Caveman, well, let's just say that this is a lifelong interest that he has had in this, along with his own encounters. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Mr. Duke, good to have you back on Spaced Out Radio, my friend. How are you?
I'm really doing good. Glad to be here again, man. And, you know, I had such a blast having you on my show a couple times, and everybody just loved it. And then I was all like psyched, well, I got to get back and go visit Dave again. And then I got this opportunity to drag the mighty Randy Caveman Yazzie along with me, and I went, oh, hell yeah. We're going to pack that chat room. We'll have the biggest chat room ever. I'll bring Caveman with me and totally cheat.
Well, you know what? We're really glad to have you here, not only for our YouTube channel, but our terrestrial radio stations around North America as well. And I'll tell you, I'm very much looking forward, because I know I had heard you mention Randy Caveman Yazzie before, and to have him here with you and sharing his experiences, but more importantly, his knowledge. I think we're all going to learn something tonight. Randy, welcome to Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, how's it going, everybody out there? How's it going, Dave, Duke?
I'm doing great. I am doing great. You know, Duke, do you mind if I just chat with Randy the Caveman here to learn a little bit more about him?
Go for it, man.
Right.
I'll go run outside and check to see if there's any deer on the lawn right now. It's been happening every night. Seriously, I'm going to film it. There's monsters out there every night. I'll be right back.
All right. Now, Randy Caveman Yazzie, you are of First Nations descent. You are somebody who has grown up in a culture and of belief in this creature. tell us a little bit about your background and why this creature is so special to you.
Like I said, everybody out there, I'm going to use my native language every once in a while, for the ones that, some listeners that I've told that I would be on the radio, Yate out there. The word, Navajo word for hello is Yate. And hello, Yate Dave.
Thank you.
And also, my name is Randy Yazzie. And they say that in Navajo, they say, if you say your name, then your ears will cringe up and fall off. So excuse me if it does that. But then I just make a joke about it and say, oh, this one's a government name, so it's not my real native name, so I'm okay with that. I always introduce myself with my clan. We have a clan system that we identify ourselves with. And it's Tuchini Nishkan, Kapahambashishin, one Sanadashi, Futsani Dashinale. And how I can translate that, is that Tuchini means like a red streak going into the water, which means like a lava flow going into the water. And also Tapaha would be like the people that used to live right by the water, which was, I just, tease about it and say the Beach Boys. Kind of like that. And then one son, and they say that there's stories about it, saying that there's, that one means mini hogans, mini houses, like a village. And, how there's the one story that says that some of the Plains Indians, they came out, the natives out, and they came in from the east, and they were accepted into the Navajo tribe, and that's who they are. Is one, and the other one is like the Pueblo villages out there. So I don't know which one is accurate, but many houses, they say. So then the other one is Tutsoni, which is like the ocean people, the ocean, coming from the ocean. So that's my clan, and identify myself. And there's a lot of other clans that are out there. Some people are related to me, some are not. And that's how I identify myself among my own tribes people. So like that. I live in a place called Hogback, New Mexico, which is on the New Mexico side of the Four Corners. There's only one place where they call the Four Corners in the United States. And I live on the New Mexico side. And it's like 4 states coming together. And there's a national monument about it. And that's west of me, where I live. Also, this is located where I live is it's like the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, as it kind of goes way out there. And the Rocky Mountain to the east of me is like maybe 60, 70, might be 80 miles from me. Yeah, but I can see the mountains from here. And that's where I live, and it's kind of like in between desert and mountainous areas. And there's some rocky ridges out here that have no plants on them, or maybe just a cedar here and there, cedar tree out here. And the main capital of New Mexico would be now Santa Fe. I live west, way about 100 miles west of there. So like that, I live the Navajo Nation. I don't like to brag about it, but it's like one of the biggest nations out here. There's a lot of Navajos out here, and like you would say, First Nations, and it's like that. So there's a lot of people that are around here, and I live right on top of a mesa.
Very nice.
It goes like there's a like a creek we call a wash, and it goes on the south side of me. That flows right there, and it flows back into the main San Juan River, we call it. That one's to the north of me. And I live on top of that, kind of like at the neck area of the mesa. And meaning like maybe if you were to see a human body, it wouldn't be the neck as to where it ends way up on top. It would be like the waist, and where, it curves back in. So I live right there, and I grew up also on the Arizona side, past the Trisca Mountain, and that's way out there, and kind of like it's the same way as where I live. So a lot of my stories come from there when I was growing up, from the Arizona side, and I came when I joined the military service. I was in the Marine Corps, and I came back, and thank you. And then also, when I came back, I moved back to the New Mexico side. So we have to describe our identity. So my mom and all my maternal side is on the New Mexico side, and my paternal side, my dad's side, is all on the Arizona side. So I went back and forth as I was growing up, and that's where all my adventures, came from as I was growing up.
Duke, I want to get you in here for a quick second. Sorry, Randy. Duke, I want to ask you. You've known Randy a long time here. What makes him so special as a Sasquatch researcher, and more importantly, a person?
There's a bunch of people that have been involved in Sasquatch research for long periods of time, and one of the things that makes Caveman unusual is he's been having experiences since he was a little kid. One of the stories that he's told on my show before is where his little brother, I think it was cruising around in a stroller, and he looked at the kitchen window and screamed. And then him and his older sister both looked at the window to see what the kid was screaming about, and there was something in there in the window, and they couldn't ID it. They could see it like turning sideways, and its arm was hanging down, and his sister thought, well, that was like an elephant's trunk, so she said it must be an elephant. Well, it wasn't an elephant unless there was like a woolly mammoth wandering around the res that just happened to walk by their window. But, this is, Caveman has been having these experiences in the various places. He's been living around the reservation since he was a kid. So he's known since then that they're real, and he's been taking the time and efforts to actually look into it and get evidence of them. And he's got, plenty of track pictures. He's got plenty of pictures of the Hosteen down there, which Hosteen Ziltroy, the big man of the mountains, the big man. That's the Navajo name for him. And there's other cryptids and stuff running around down there, and he kind of gets called on when something weird happens. They're in the Navajo Nation near him. He's one of the go-to guys. All the locals know. Call Caveman. Something weird's going on. And if it's a little bit too far east of him, I think it's called Brenda. Brenda Harris from the New Mexico Shadow Seekers. She's another one down there that's covers that area, keeps a real close eye on everything that's going on, tries to help the locals when they're having trouble with it. So Caveman brings the vast experience. He also had to actually be on Finding Bigfoot at one time with Matt Moneymaker. Don't blame him. It's not his fault.
Well, I don't. Well, you know how I feel about that, but that's okay. Now, Caveman, bringing you back in here, when Duke said something very important, that when something weird or strange happens in your area where you live, that you're one of the people that they call. What made you so much needed for when these types of occurrences happen, whether it's Bigfoot, whether it's other cryptids, or maybe star people?
Well, for some of the law enforcement that have come around, they have searched around my area, and then also have asked questions about the behavior of the Hosteen. I call him the Hosteen, which means the man. this Kui means coming from the mountain. So I call it the hunting this Kui. But there's a lot of sound and all of that, so I just call it the hunting. I just call it that. But there's a real good name that the main name that's called Yei, and that's it goes into the spiritual side. If you start to say that, but we don't say those like in the springtime or summertime or the fall time. We only refer to them as Yei during the winter times. And there's also some sacred dances that involve that, and it's just like that. So I when they ask me to come around, they'll tell me. It's just like by word of mouth. All of a sudden, hey, I've encountered this, and I want you to come around, take a look at it, and see what they might be coming around for, or chase it away or something like that. And that's basically what my people say out here is chase it away, and also what the behavior would be, or why why coming around. Then I go over there, do my research or do my investigation, and come to find out there's certain things that it comes around for. And it's always different. It's always different. It's just not only one thing. There's researchers out there that pinpoint what they come around for, but that's just not only one thing that they come around for. They're very curious for one thing, and I look into those things, and that's the reason why they ask me to come around.
Are they as dangerous as what many people believe?
I would say yes and a no. You know how if you leave them alone, if you leave them alone, you can actually go right on the same path as them as they're walking the other way, and they'll move out of the way, or they'll just go by, grunt at you or look at you, and then they'll keep on going. And then you're, walking the other way, and you're on your way either home or back to your vehicle or anything like that. But if you start to annoy them, it's just like the way I see them. They're just like people. They have the same. Some characteristics are the same. Some traits are the same. That's the behavior I have come up with just by being around them. And so I would say if you really stare at them, they'll stare back. They'll wait for you to move, do something. Like for a human will grab a gun, a rifle, something like that. That means to them they carry sticks, so it's some kind of weapon. They really don't know about gunpowder or anything. But I bet you they smelled it, and it causes ailments, or they get shot, or get shot at. So they get the ideas from there, just like anybody else. You experience something, and if it was bad, then you're not going to go do it again or go back to where where you got hurt. That's the way they are, and if you keep on following them, they'll hit you over the head, slap you upside the head, or something like that too. They'll do that to you, and if you hurt them and they're near, just like for anybody else, they'll defend themselves, and which it's real easy for them based on their strength. I mean, if you can uproot a 10-inch timber tree, maybe that's some strength there. So
yes,
why bother somebody that has like maybe 10 or 20 times stronger than you? So
see, and up here where I am in British Columbia, Caveman, the First Nation believe that Sasquatch does have the ability to recognize the smell of gunpowder with danger. And knowing, in just my personal learning of this creature, I really do believe that it is smart enough to detect that, when they hear the bang, they're probably close enough to get the smell of the gunpowder and have been able to learn putting two and two together means danger. And I know up here, learning that from our First Nations friends here, that the squitch is what they call it up here, squitch. And that they are very, very shy in our area and try and really stay away from the people, because this is known where I live as a hunting area. So for you, do you think in your area, is there a lot of hunting there that takes place that would scare these creatures off or make them more wary of humans?
Just like you said, they're shy. That's one main thing. They'll just observe you, but they're curious. And they will they'll try and keep out of the way. But there's some instances of people that have that live in the mountain that have told me that they've been messed with. So based on that, I when I do my investigation, they will, like I said, they will defend themselves. But they're shy, and then just that's one thing that I always think about when I'm out there doing an investigation. What did it come for, and then all of that.
Duke, I want to get you in on this, because you and we have talked numerous times about how we have to, in order to try and figure this creature out, pay more attention to what our indigenous friends like Caveman are saying about this creature, and when we look at it and just hearing his knowledge in regards to, we're 20 minutes into the show, but you could already tell that Caveman's knowledge in regards to this creature is probably tenfold what most researchers have.
Yeah, that one of the reasons I brought him on the show, Dave. This is one of those guys, and I've got a few of them lined up to be on the show here that have, had a lifetime of experience with having these guys around them and getting curious, going out on their own, trying to find out more about them. Locals find out they're doing research. Well, then they start, something weird happened over here. Help! So yeah, these are the guys that really can bring home the bacon, that do know what they're talking about. It's very little conjecture and mostly first-hand experiences that are compiled into things that form a pretty accurate picture of what's going on. And I know Randy's had some experiences that he probably can't even talk about on the radio. And not just with the Sasquatch beings either. There's other things down there on the res that pop up every so often. They got Dogman and stuff like that down there too. So if you're going to be out there doing any kind of Sasquatch research, you got to be pretty careful, because there's other things you could be running into as well.
Very true. What is running around down there? Caveman, do you mind if I ask you, as we got about 45 seconds here before we're going to go to break, what is running around in your area?
Oh, I bet you there's skinwalkers. There's different stories based on the spiritual side and also the physical side. And when it comes to the physical side, they call that the Dogman over here. And then on the spiritual side, that one's the one that you leave alone. And also there's these, I don't know, Duke comes up with all these names, and I'm like, oh, okay, like big wiggies or something like that. We have small animal-looking, small Sasquatch, midget Sasquatches or Hoskins and all of that run around out here. And there's even the ones that are that have no hair. They're like just ghouls or something like that. They're all plain.
Right.
And there's
All right.
My friend, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We got Duke, we got Caveman. We are in for a night of knowledge here on Spaced Out Radio, talking Sasquatch. Wow, that flew by.
Yeah, this should be fun. I'm glad we could get Caveman on here. He's going into finals week next week, so he's going to be super busy. And yeah, we're going to have to start calling him Professor Caveman here pretty soon.
Oh, really? That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's what I forgot to put in my bio. When you asked me about it.
Well, you didn't get your official piece of paper yet, though. You got to wait for that before you can put it in there.
Yeah, I was an oil field worker, and then the oil field, all of that went down, so I had to start off a new career. So I took Navajo studies, and I was taking classes about myself. That's how I
you just picked the easiest subject, Randy. All you have to do is just look in the mirror for a few years. Oh, Navajo studies. Okay, I'm a Navajo. There I am. I'm doing the study, and give me my degree.
Look at me. Yeah. But, finals are up, so I'll be doing all year. Duke has been bothering me. Hey, come, let's go do another show. And I'm like, let's wait. Let me take care of all of this first. Then I'll be out there.
See, so you guys out there that think that I'm not pestering Caveman to be on and I'm not listening to you complaining all the time that I don't have Caveman on, this is why Caveman hasn't been on. Because he's busy being college guy right now and I can't get him on the show. And it took a lot of persuading to get him to jump on this one right before finals week.
All right. We've got a few minutes left here, guys.
I'm going to run outside and have a couple drags off the safety
You go.
real quick.
You go.
Yep. Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
I found a link that's kind of like it says SOR live CIDFF32EE972
Oh,
E9F.
Yeah. If are you talking for Skype?
Yeah.
Well, let me take a look here.
There's actually two of them. One has like a picture of animated pig. That's the one I just named off. Then the other one, it just says SOR live LYONG 0911.
1 second here. All right. Yeah, that might be me. Let me phone it, okay? Hold on 1 second here. See if you hear this.
Okay.
See it ringing through?
Nope.
Hmm.
On the other side, it has Dave Scott, Mission Canada, one mutual contact.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. All you got to do is hit that accept.
It's not doing it. I've called 4 times on that one.
Weird.
And it just has your picture on there. But when I write out the whole Spaced Out Radio, Dave, then that picture just comes out, and then I push it, and then nothing happens.
Okay. Well, we'll try again after next break, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, because we only got about a minute left here.
Man, that flew by.
Oh, my friend, I could talk to you for hours. I already know this. I could talk to you for hours, and I wouldn't have to say a damn thing. I would just sit there and listen with a big smile on my face.
Yeah, I have a lot of encounters, and a lot of it I forgot until somebody says, "Oh yeah, remember this time when we did this?" Oh, did we really do that? Yes, we did.
Hold on, my friend. We're going to get going here. Big thank you to Dirty Filth, Cat Chaser, Ed Clater, Andrew, Mr. Catfish, Murray, and Cat Chaser for the awesome super chats and supporting this show. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Here we go. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us in. Really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight, talking Bigfoot all night long with Big Bad Duke Sullivan from World Bigfoot Radio. That is a channel you are definitely going to want to subscribe to. And his good friend, and now becoming our good friend, because we're going to, well, Duke, you have no choice. You're going to have to share Caveman with us now.
Oh, heck yeah. As long as he's willing to come on and do it, that's up to him. I've only got him locked into a contract with me at this point. If he wants to come on your show again, that's up to him.
Well, we appreciate that. Caveman, thank you so much for joining us. Gentlemen, I want to get into this next half hour telling some stories here because, we love a good Bigfoot story around here. And, Duke, you have shared yours, that happened at childhood and everything, but is there a recent one that you haven't shared yet with us that you could really, really say just really kind of weirded you out or made you jump back and say, holy cow, I can't believe that just happened?
For sure, maybe me and Caveman should do dueling story time here right now.
Let's do it.
This one is pretty strange, and Caveman will be able to top this one, but I'll start it out because I got the lesser cool story. So I'm in my tent down by the Blackfoot River, and we got a 4-month-long camp out going on down there where either both of us or one of us is there every single night staking out this area. So the Sasquatch that happens to be camped across the river from us is getting mightily acclimated to us being there all the time, to the point where they're getting really sloppy and coming into camp to steal scraps that we're leaving lying around, or even actually like opening up our coolers and taking food out of it. So I decided that, I couldn't afford to keep feeding you guys. So I put the cooler underneath the tent flap on my tent. And I got an A-frame tent, so the rain fly on it is pretty dang close to the tent. I mean, like right next to it. So there's barely enough room to cram a cooler in there. So I wake up in the middle of the night, something is fiddling with the cooler. It's reaching in the cooler. I can hear it fiddling around to step inside the cooler. And there's something leaning against the upper side of my tent. So it's a full moon. I wake up. I can see this. I can see this shadow, and I can see this bulge in my tent. And I'm half asleep, and I roll over and hit it as hard as I can. At which point, nothing happens. If it was a bear or something, it would have reacted. If it was a human, it would have reacted. Because, I'm not a little spindly guy, weigh 240, used to bench press 400 pounds. When I punch something really hard, it feels it. But whatever this thing was just backed away from the tent. I heard the cooler top go down again, and that was it. Dead silence. I didn't hear it walk off or anything. And this was crammed into a little, a thick hedge, which gave it about 2.5, 3 feet to move in between that and the edge of the tent. So whatever it was didn't have a whole lot of maneuvering space either. So that was extremely alarming. And then when I got up the next morning, there was a 19-inch track right in front of my tent. The big toe was literally 2 inches from the zipper on the front of my tent. It was the first thing I saw when I got up in the morning. And then I remembered rolling over and smacking something and went, oh, that was really dumb. So Caveman had another experience that's even kind of maybe worse than this one, where he was walking down to the San Juan River in the dark, didn't have a flashlight, and was following a Jeep trail. Take it away, Caveman.
Okay. All right, we'll talk about that one. Yeah, I was down there, and sometimes I just go down there just to see, travel of this hosting. And I got off and started walking. There's a canal for all the fields that are down below, right by the river. And I started to walk. It was kind of like moonlit, full moon. And so, to me, I decided to see if it's true that these huskies will come out, and the way they talk about werewolves and all of that, they're very active and all of that. So I started walking, but I started walking east, and here these I was looking on the ground because I wanted to, not twist my ankle or anything like that. I was, plus also the reflection from the full moon was kind of like in my eye. So I was looking downwards, had being sure-footed. And I know the canal, the little creek that was onto my right, and this is a vehicle-traveled road. And I was on the left side. And here, if you're going east, either way, I was going east. That's the left side, my left side. So anyway, my right side has the creek flowing, the canal, little canal. It goes all the way down west. But I was in this certain place. And here, the tree line was off to my left side, real near. And I was just walking, and then I was just, looking down, see where I could put my foot, and then I was, just walking casually. All of a sudden, I walked into one. And then I was like, whoa. The first thing that came to my mind is, how did I veer off track here? I walked into a tree. So I hit somewhere around the middle, maybe the stomach or the hip area where my head bounced into. And I slowly, that's why I looked at the canal, I looked to my left and saw the tree line, and I looked back down on the road, and it was right there. And as I started slowly looking up, there's this big tree first, and as I kind of like went way up there, there's this thing that's looking back at me with, the glistening in its eyes. It wasn't red or nothing like that. It's just the glisten in its eyes, looking down at me. So in Navajo, I said, "Whoa, Grandpa, I didn't mean to walk into you," I said. So I stepped to my right and then continued on walking. I took about maybe 10 steps. So I was on the lit area as to where when I looked back, I could see the figure, but it was just had its head kind of like tilted back towards me, but it was still standing in one place. And then I took about maybe 3 more steps, and I swung around then. Made it look like I, really seen it. That's when it just turned to its right into the tree line. And it just took off from there. So then I turned around, I walked back, and real kind of like swiftly. I didn't want to run. I got scared there and went back in my truck and went home and checked my shorts.
I would be doing that too.
Oh my goodness.
So that's the reason why I say, there's a yes and a no in what they do. If you just walk by, just like me, casually just walk by, even though you're scared and all of that, you just walk by and don't eyeball it, and then it'll leave you alone.
Do you think
if you start to find it or something like that, then it's going to come after you.
Do you think they understand the English or the Navajo language?
I would say yes. I would say more of the First Nations, like for us, we don't have that complicated words. That's what we think, and we have a lot of or sounds, like N, M, B, those kind of. We make sounds like that, and that's kind of like the same sounds that they make also. So sometimes they would just mimic, or if they come close to a house, you could hear it go, ooh. It would say that. And then people would freak out then. Or it would tap on the window like it would do me. And people would say, oh, it has an aggressive nature. No, to me, aggressive means actually, putting up your dukes and you're throwing wildfire, like that, getting into a fight. To me, that's aggressive. And if you were to ask some kind of the other tribes, they would say that to you too. But just for it to tap on the window or check the thing, it's just being curious. You just to get out of the way, stay out of the way. What it's coming around for is, something you don't really want to think about. So you lock your doors and all of that. So that's that. So like I said, I've walked into one. It didn't do anything to me. But and also what we do as First Nation, we look at it as it's like walking by, or if it's like peeking out from behind the tree, then we look over there. And when it does come out, it's either, we say stayed there, but we call it relative, like grandpa, uncle, mother, father, some kind of relative that we throw at them. And then they stop. And then that's when they either just start staring at you, and then you lock eyes with it. And then sure enough, the human in all of us is the one that gets scared. So it just does that.
That's amazing. That is just amazing. Duke, have you felt in your experiences with Sasquatch that they have been able to understand when you talk to them?
Oh, yeah. As much as they're spying on us all the time because we're their entertainment, they're definitely learning basic English words, complicated scientific terminology or something like that. They don't know what it is. They don't know what it applies to. But just basic words, yeah, I'm pretty sure they understand most of that. And I communicate with them. My one area that I go to a lot, as soon as I pull into the parking lot, I got the music going, the windows down, and I throw the doors open and say, "Hey, forest people," I let them know that I know they're there, and hi, I'm here to visit. And yeah, I'm quite sure. We had one example of that when I was up there with Michael a couple of years ago, and the weather was just dismal. And we were kind of like questioning why we were even up there. It was so rainy and lousy and cold. And before we went jumped into our tents that night, I said, hey, it'd be nice if one of you guys would leave a nice obvious track for us to find tomorrow. And first thing in the morning, we got up, walked across the road, went about maybe 40, 50 feet over this little drainage ditch. And on the other side of it, there was an open bank. It's the only place there where there's no grass growing, just dirt. And there's an obvious 18-inch track right in the middle of it. So, like, literally, if you're making any attempt to hide your track, you wouldn't have stepped there. You would have had to have stepped there because you wanted somebody to find your track. That was the only one we could find there, but we knew exactly which direction he was going, so we went up there and found a bunch of tree structures.
See, that's something I haven't found yet, is the tree structures. You know, how do we know that these are actually being created by Sasquatch?
Well, two ways. For the ones that I have up here, they're too gigantic for humans to make them. When you got a 5 or 6 story tall X structure that's made out of 2 individual lodgepole pines that have been torn out of the ground and moved into place, or, you know, entire trees upside down, and there's no road access, humans didn't make it. And then the other thing is the bigger structures, they frequent them. They come back and visit them for whatever it is that their marking purposes. So if you know where these things are, you can go back there. Every time you go back there, look around, you'll find new tracks. So if they're not making them, they sure do visit them a lot. And I don't know what the hell else out there is big and strong enough to be making them.
How about for you, Caveman? What do you think of these structures? How do we recognize them?
To me, talking about those structures, I would say that they are still nomadic. They're like temporary houses. You know, going somewhere into an area, they'll put up something, a shelter, either to sleep in for the night or for the week, or something very temporary. And then they'll put structures together. They'll lean a tree on another tree, and then they'll just put other branches or something like that onto it, and then sleep in there. And then that's how I noticed them. Like even with the bamboo shoots that are out here, out in the well areas over here, where all the water's gathered. They pick them out, and they'll make a little baby shelter for their little ones. And that's, you know, I've taken a picture of that, and then come to find out one is sitting on the left side while they were looking at me while I was going through. They're so quiet, and they put their babies in there, and then that's basically it. Just shelter for the night.
Yeah, I agree with Caveman. We found the same thing up here, where there was an area where there was a whole bunch of stumps that hadn't been cut by loggers, just trees that naturally died, stumps still sticking up. And someone had gone around and stuck little branches and stuff all over in them and leaning all against them and stuff. And in the same area, we found this little ground nest and a nice blind there for somebody to do some hunting in at a convergence of about 3 game trails. And then there was a nice twist snap about 10.5 feet up on the edge of the ravine. That's what I noticed initially and went, they're over here doing something. What's up with this? So, yeah, we find that kind of stuff, too. We're talking about 2 different things, okay, man. You're talking about their little temporary ground shelters and nests and stuff like that. And I'm talking about their giant territorial markers that they make in one place, because they do live there all the time. Now, down there, you've got a lot less forest and a lot more open space, and they need to move around a lot more in order to get enough food.
Yeah, they'll just burrow into the side of a cliff where it's just like spoiled bad dirt, and it has a lot of rock cakes, and they'll just burrow into it, and they'll lay in there also.
Hey man, are you the one that told me the story about the guy who was actually down there by the river fishing as it was getting dark and saw one burrow out of a sandbank?
No, that's probably Brenda.
Okay. Yeah, somebody down there actually saw that happen. The sandbank just kind of collapsed all of a sudden, and the Sasquatch came burrowing out of it, went down to the river, got a drink, looked around, apparently decided it wasn't dark enough, and then burrowed back in again, and the sandbank collapsed, burying him back in again.
That is weird. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. That's a weird story, man.
Yep, but the only thing is we've heard that similar stuff from other First Nations people and from researchers that keep finding signs of them around these river areas. And this seems to be something they do down there where Caveman lives. Up here, they don't have sandbanks to burrow into, so it's a no-go on that.
I only swim with fish up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing about the language. I was down below on the San Juan River site, and here I was taking pictures. See myself and this other researcher named Brenda Harris. we exchange information, which way we have seen them going or which way the tracks are, and we communicate on that a lot. And here, one time I was down there in the middle of the day. I went right by the river taking pictures, and I was tracking one, really getting close to get pictures of that, and it went into the water, and I took pictures of that too. And the tracks were leading into the water, and I kneeled down, took a real close picture, measured it and all that, pictures and all of that too. As I stood back up out of the thicket of the trees that was nearby the river, which was only about maybe 20 feet to my left. The river was to my right. And here it goes, ran. Boy, that sent chills down my spine. And like for me, even though I've encountered them a lot, I still, get scared of them. They startle me sometimes. And it's just, I'm like that. That's the reason why I say the human will always chicken out and maybe have a rifle with them and all of that. But when it said that, I booked myself real swiftly to my truck and took off out of there. And the only person that called me ran was the person I used to live with a long time ago. And they would mimic. They know who ran was based on all of that. And they just called out my name, That's how I know that they can mimic words and find out who it is. And they're slowly learning.
That is amazing, man. That is amazing that they can pick up the language. That tells me when you say that there is more of a spiritual aspect of this creature than a hardcore physical creature that, is the North American great ape or a relative of Gigantopithecus. Is that the line you're going down, Caveman?
Nope. I think about them spiritual-wise. Like, they're people. They're not, but to me, they're not lost people. They're deities of mine. They're supernatural. And when, I don't understand when people say, they go into vortexes and they come back out and all of that, or live right by on the doorstep of people and all of that, because it has never happened to me. The only times that I have seen them, not calling them out, but I bet you I did that, was when I would sing and dance outside. There's a certain winter dance that's very sacred. And here I used to do that outside, and early in the morning before the sun comes up. And it sounds almost like the way they talk and the woo and the grunts, and also, like talking. And the sacred songs almost sound like that. So when I was doing that, for me, I was learning the songs and all of that, and it'd be doing my stuff outside while everybody's still asleep, or they're probably saying, what is he doing out there? All hoopering and hollering out there again. But for me, I was learning the song and the dance, and so I was doing that, and they would come around at night or at dusk. And also what I noticed is they would come around, they were moving close to the house right around 2, 3 o'clock. That's when the body really goes to sleep, I guess.
Right.
So,
my friend, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. This is a fast show. Fast-paced, fast information. we got Duke, we got Caveman, we've got Sasquatch, and we're talking about it all tonight on Spaced Out Radio. This is a good one, people. You want to make sure you check out the archive on this one after the show is done, because we're getting a lot of information tonight. We'll be back with hour number 2 next. All right, gentlemen, you can talk away to the YouTube crowd. I'll be right back, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Howdy, crowdies. Hope you're enjoying the show. I can't see the chat room, so I don't know who's here, so I can't say hello to everybody by name. But hi, Christy Sci-Fi. Doing okay over there, Caveman?
Yeah, Dave's profile is stuck on my whole page here.
You should get over to Facebook and check out the live chat. Say hi to people. Since you're actually on the phone doing this, you could do that on your laptop.
I don't even have Facebook. I got a.
Oh, excuse me. I mean YouTube. What the hell did I say Facebook for?
Let me see. How do I get into the chat room?
Just go to the show. All right, I'm going to make a quick run over to the water closet here. I'll be right back.
So we're still on?
Yeah, we're on YouTube right now. Radio, we're not on right now, but everybody on YouTube can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
are you on the show yet? Like the one presently playing over there, so you can say hi and chat.
I'm trying to get there.
Be right back.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, hello, people out there. I'm trying to get to talk to you guys on chat here, and I will, once I get to this. I'm not computer genius. I'm just a person that tries to click through everything, and hopefully my friends out there, you guys are out there also. And then for the new ones that that are there and follow the radio, then there's
All right, guys, we have just a couple minutes.
Thank you, Governor Lujan Grisham, for your leadership during this pandemic. Thanks for your
Hey, I need that turned down, guys. I need that turned down.
Yeah.
from the oil and gas.
I just don't want to get hit by any of the YouTube stuff. All right, I want to say thank you to everybody who has donated to the Super Chat tonight. Ed, Cat Chaser, Murray, Mr. Catfish, Andrew, Dirty Filth, The Dirt Road, Robin Ward, and Queen Bee, T-Rev, and who am I missing? Lynn Sows. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your love and support of Spaced Out Radio. I really do appreciate you recognizing the hard work and everything that we do. Thank you so much for your love, man. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know what else to say besides saying thank you about 100 more times. Slim, how you doing, man? Good to have you back here. All right, we're going to get going here in about 15 seconds. If you're new here, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. We talk a lot of Bigfoot and UFOs and everything cool here on a nightly basis, every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Here we go with hour number 2.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free for you. All you got to do is go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Kakotopia. Kakotopia is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight, we're talking Bigfoot all night long. We got Duke. We have Caveman, two very veteran Bigfoot researchers in North America. And gentlemen, we're so glad to have both of you here. Thank you for coming on up.
You're welcome, Dave. Always a blast being here, buddy.
Caveman, I hope you're having fun too.
Yeah, I just got to the chat, but I can't respond.
Oh, that's quite all right, my friend. That's quite all right. I got, our audience sometimes can ask some strange questions. And I'm just going to fire this one out because, well, why not? Why not? And you guys have heard Sasquatch talk. You've heard it mumble. Anybody ever heard Sasquatch just rip one, have a little fart every now and again?
I haven't, but I know another researcher that claims that he did.
I only smell it.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I had to ask. A couple people brought it up. So there we go. We asked the question. All right. D. Swigger is asking, has any one of you heard any stories about Sasquatch getting hiccups?
I've had my uncle was telling me in his apple orchard. He was trying to clean it out, and he was trying to, hoe under all the apple trees. And he said, "Hey, there's something in there," he said. And so I looked at him. He says, "Well, you're the Bigfoot man," he says. And so he kind of just told me to go in there. As an uncle, he has a higher supremacy on me, respectfully. So I went in there, and the closer I got to where there are all them high weeds, about maybe 3 feet high, I started to crawl. But then I don't know how far I crawled on all fours. When right still in my crawl, there was like that sound. And so I stopped right there, and then it did that again. Right, I would say there's a wall of weeds, and here it was on the other side, and I was on the side, and then I just backed out. I just crawled out slowly, then walked out swiftly, and then went back to his where my uncle was standing. He was startled out about it, and then we heard like kind of like motion in where it was, and so we backed off. And as we walked away from it to, I'd say about maybe 100 feet, we saw another one along the fence. Either it was the same one or another one walking away along the fence, way down below, about maybe 1,000 feet away. And then that's when he says, "Oh, now I know that they are real," he says. He said, "What are you talking about? You're the one that has the chain link fence about maybe 15 feet high around your house." And he just smiled at me. So that's the only sound that I heard, not hiccups though.
Interesting. I want to give a shout out to Tom in Nebraska, hanging on out right now, checking out this show. Hey, Tom, thank you so much for listening in. I want to get to Kirk's question here, and he keeps bugging me. He said it about 9 times in our YouTube chat room right now in regards to the story about the Cookie Monster.
Oh, well, the Cookie Monster.
Funniest Bigfoot story ever.
Find that hilarious, though, Dave. I don't know. Just listen. I was way out there in south of where I live. I was a security guard, and here I was out there, and a big hot teen ran by me, and I got scared, and I brought the police in and all of that. So we looked around, and then there was the BIA security, which, I was working alongside. He came around, and then an old man came around. And then he says, so we started, as men, we found out where it went out and all of that. But anyway, then the cop starts telling me, "Oh, yeah," he says, "I know about them things," he says. "One day I was going home, and here, as I was going home, I know that there was a Christian revival that was going on near my house, he says. And it's just along the way towards my house. And so I started going there. And all of a sudden I heard on the radio, there's a boogeyman way out there where the revival is going on. So I thought, okay, I'll check it out. I called back in and said, I'll check it out. So along the way, I was cruising away. Then all of a sudden, I saw all these people in pickup trucks with rifles, and they were all flashlighting around and all of that. And here, I stopped them because I've seen all them rifles. And here, they told me that there was some boogeyman that did something back at the revival tent. And I continued on. I went to where the tent was, and everybody was kind of like scared, kind of bunched up together. Some people were all crying. Then I asked them, what's going on? I was the person to go to, and I was the savior of that revival. So they started telling him, okay, he said, all right, we were just about done with singing and praising and worshiping. And the guitars, the drums were all going down, 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 they're all getting down. And then right at the end of the last note, it came down. The people in the front, or all of them, they started to jump up and say hallelujah, but they never finished it. He said, hallelujah. Just then, that hosteen ran in real fast. Everybody saw them, and this was happening at the same time, all simultaneously. G was the sound of the guitars and the drums. On this side was hallelujah, but then it came in from one side of the tent. They all looked at it. Everybody, the first 3 rows, they all fell back. The people on the stage all fell back. And all it did within its own agenda, it grabbed up a real big bowl of cookies and kind of looked to the side and just took off, kept on going, and went out the other side. So everybody else there, some fainted, some got scared, so everybody was like, hallelujah. All the other ones were up, all that commotion, all at one time, because of it running in, stealing that big bowl of cookies that those people that were doing the revival were going to eat. So it ran back out the other way. And it was, that's what happened. That's what they call the cookie. That's my Cookie Monster story. Maybe I didn't tell it enough as to where it was funny or anything like that. But that's what it was. It stole a bowl of cookies. I don't know why, but I guess it was standing outside, and it scared everybody, and it just stole it.
Pretty brazen, right in the middle of a revival tent packed with humans.
Yeah.
No kidding. I mean, I have heard stories of Sasquatch stealing food, whether it's sandwiches or pies off of windowsills. Is this something that happens quite often in your area, Caveman?
Yeah. That's not the only story. There was, we like to, what we butcher for celebrations, ceremonies, and all of that. We butcher sheep. We don't do that to goats because the meat is smaller. So the sheep, we do that. Everybody in that, whoever's participating will get the blood of that sheep, and it's made into another delicacy as to where we eat it. It's boiled and then with the stomach. It's put that blood and plus also some ingredients like potatoes, green peppers, and a whole bunch of other, like haggis. It's made like that and it's put into a bowl like that. So the women that get people to do this, they give it to them and then they just save it. So the blood has to coagulate first, and then they pour off whatever water is on there, the clear liquid, and then they redo the whole thing and squish it over, and then that's when they and all of that. Anyways, that blood, sometimes they save it overnight, and that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to say, this was a wedding that was going on, and there were 5 ovens that those guys brought in, and then they put that, they wanted to save the blood, so they went in there and they wanted the blood to coagulate. And they wanted to make it the next morning as the wedding was going on. But then that night, I guess, this house team came in and then drank all the blood and ate all the blood that people were saving. And it took off from there. Everybody the next day were all mad about it. So that's what they do. They do steal a lot of things. That's one story. The other one is probably like you leave something outside, like dog food. Like, let's say you forgot, you're tired, you came back, you got the dog food from the hardware store, you brought it back, and you left it in the back of the truck. The next day, that dog food will be gone, or it would be torn open and eaten about 2/3 of the way. And then you know who it is. That is still inside the truck. Overnight, they would do that.
I don't know. It may be my dog sneaking out there because he's eating everything. He eats everything. Dog Doug. I got a question from Joe coming. And, Duke, I'll start off with you on this one. I have had numerous listeners who own horses talk about these amazing braids that end up in their tails and manes. Have either of you, and Duke, we'll start with you, run into this?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, me and somebody that owns 2 horse ranches, and all they breed is thoroughbred, big value horses. They got one ranch in South Dakota and one down in Florida. I brought her on Bigfoot Outlaws with me a few years back to talk about this situation, because this comes up quite frequently, and it's kind of a taboo thing for people to talk about, because it has to do with hanky-panky between the Sasquatch and people's farm animals. But the hypothesis of the Bigfoot Outlaws is that this braiding horsehair is happening in conjunction with them messing around with the animals, basically. They grab onto its mane and then wrap their fingers through it, and this just sort of causes this sort of braiding effect. Now, there's other people that say that it has to do with the little people playing around with them and doing braiding on them. And I've seen pictures of a lot of this stuff, and there does seem to be a difference, and this isn't the wind whipping their hair around or them scratching on barbed wire fences or any of that kind of stuff that does cause tangles and stuff like that in their hair. This is just flat out, it's been braided. And it does seem like there's a difference between the two that you can actually tell if you've seen enough pictures of it. And I got not only Caveman has had them messing around with the horses. He's got, Brenda Harris has covered several reports down there where they've been messing around with the livestock. We showed a picture she had where the horse actually had big scratches on its flank as well as other stuff that had been going on. So between that and a lot of the people in the South that have horses and, cattle and stuff that have observed this sort of thing going on and drawn their own conclusions, seems to me like, yeah, that kind of stuff is going on. Now, what do you think, K-Man?
Yeah, they would braid. They know how to braid. The three strand braid. They know how to do that. But also, I've seen the one that they just twist the hair and then tie it real neatly at the end. They go all the way down to the last strand of hair, and then that's when they'll tie it up. And it's neat. It's not like Duke said. It's not going to be like getting caught on the fence and then or they rub up against the fence and all of that. Those are all all different. But these will be neat. That's what I've seen. And my horses. One of my horses, the one that was real calm and gentle, they used to do that to me. So It would always be the mane on the neck, the mane right there, and they'll do that halfway down the horse's neck.
See, and I have a young lady around my town who is someone who works with horses at one of the ranches here, and she says they've always called them fairy braids because the fairies will come in at night and create these braids in the horse's manes. And she's actually sent me pictures of this. So I'm just curious if it's actual fairies or if it's Sasquatch or both of them do them, Caveman.
Yeah, well, for me, I think it's more of the Hawks team, the Bigfoot. Sometimes the big ones would come in. That's about probably around, like I said, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. They come in and then they do their stuff with that, whatever they need to do. They'll try and steal a little goat if they're hungry, or if they're just moping around, I should say. They would just do stuff like that. Or sit under the shack that it was for the horses. They chase out the horse and they sit under there, or they lay under there. Because in the morning when you walk out and you look at all the hay and all of that, you would see all the footprints, but then they would put up like they would either bite the twine that's on the baling wire or something like that, but they would make it real comfortable. They'll take that hay apart, and then they'll make themselves comfortable and sleep in there. How I know it's there, that it's them, is the smell that they leave. And you try to feed that to the horses, and then they don't want to eat that.
I can't even tell you.
And then also it's they send in the little one first, their kids. They're the ones that steal a lot, and they're the ones that can move swiftly. And they're the ones that will just eat out of something. If you have a 55-gallon jug out there, and they know how to take it apart. They have strong fingers. They even can take out the little screws that are screwed into the mobile homes. They'll do that.
I like that.
It's just like that.
I'd like to add to that one, too. I have a bunch of reports from Bigfoot researchers that have investigated this hair braiding thing with the livestock. And in most cases where they find it going on, the animal in question is highly agitated the night after it happened. And this does not seem to be the case in those instances where people are saying it's fairy braiding going on. And the other thing to consider is the very few examples I've seen pictures of fairy braids, and I've seen lots of reputed Sasquatch hair braids on horses. The fairy braids are tiny. They're 3 or more strand, and they're just itty-bitty tiny. So think about how big Bigfoot's fingers are. You would have to be a teeny tiny baby toddler Sasquatch, and how do you know how to braid at that point to make braids that small? So I think there's actually both going on.
What do you think it signifies, Duke? Because we got about 45 seconds.
Not sure. I mean, in the case with the Bigfoot, there's something about the animal in question that they like, and that's probably the same thing with the little people. I mean, ask them to know their intentions. It's pretty hard to guess at something like that.
It's one of those little mysteries, and I guess that's why we love what we do, is because these little mysteries just keep on popping up, and who knows if we'll ever solve them, but that's part of the fun, I guess. Gentlemen, I'm going to get you to hold on there because we are going to go to break here in just a few seconds at the bottom of the hour, and we are going to talk about Bigfoot, more stories from our good friends Duke and Caveman as we are talking Sasquatch all night long here on Spaced Out Radio. So just do us a favor, stick around, and enjoy what we call a little bit of woo here on this show. We like it. I hope you're liking it. And we're going to take more of your questions if you're in our chat rooms, as well as on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. We continue with Duke and Caveman right after this on the mighty SOR. All right, gentlemen, we're clear.
Yay!
This is fantastic. I'm having a blast here.
How are we doing in the chat room? How many people we got in there? Did we break the record?
No, we're still 60. We're at 179 right now, 178. And
Lane, where is everybody? I got twice that number in my last show.
I'm not as popular, man. I'm not as popular. Not as good looking either.
I'm not that popular either. That's why I brought in Caveman. He's the ringer here. The whole Navajo Nation is supposed to be listening right now. Maybe they can't figure out where YouTube is.
It says on here, somebody named T-Rev. RY is trying to act not too interested. I'm not. I'm telling the best thing I can.
You get picked on from your buddies in chat.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Tom, the Cornhusker fan, go Big Red. Is that what I'm supposed to say, Stephanie? Go Big Red? Hold on. See if I can find that. Is that Go Big Red? I'm so not up on my college sports, man. Ugh. Now I'm going to get frustrated. Is it Big Red? Go Big Red. Hey, Ross Smith, how you doing?
I'm going to go refill my mug real quick.
Yeah,
here.
you go, man. You go.
Are the chat? Can they still hear us?
Oh, yeah, they can still hear us.
Oh, I'd just like to do a shout out to a person that, I haven't heard talk to a long time. All that. All the way from Australia. Patsy Trigg. All that. Good person.
Very nice.
Illinois Sasquatch. All of that. So. And April. So, just like to do some shout outs.
Yeah, go right ahead.
If I don't know who else is on here, but I'm just just as happy as I can be, trying to do give out information only as far as I know. Not I don't go beyond anything else. So. I don't exaggerate or anything about it. I want to give the best information I can get to another person. That way they don't get just get hurt out there or anything like that. That's the reason why I give out what I know. I'm not going to say that I'm number one or anything, and that's what I say all the time. So that's that, and I just like to say that to all the people, out there, all the listeners, and all of that.
That is awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Uh-huh.
I got to do something here quickly here, as it is that time of the night when Gary the Dutchman shows up in our chat room. You know what that means. It's time for some Mighty Moose beard oil. Now, if you use promo code SOR2019, Gary the Dutchman's going to actually give you a deal. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, getting a deal out of a Dutchman is damn near impossible. But Gary's going to do it because for this month, $1 from every sale is going to help Parkinson's research, which hits Gary the Dutchman's family pretty damn close. So what I need you to do is go to MightyMooseBeard.com. You order it up. You press in promo code SOR2019. And I'll tell you, the stuff smells great. There's no chemicals. and it's made in the Fraser Valley in Chilliwack, BC. You just add a few drops to your hand like this. I'm using my favorite, the Winter Blend. You rub it in your hands. Normally you can put some in your beard, like my beard is growing back. Oh, that just feels beautiful. And then you just put the rest in your hair because it's great for your hair. Ladies, it's good for you too. It helps stop the split ends, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Go to MightyMooseBeard.com. Tell Gary the Dutchman that you're using SOR 2019 as a promo code, and he's going to give you a deal. He's going to get you the best damn beard oil that's out there on the market right now. So check it on out today. All right, guys, we're going to get going here in about 10 seconds. Stay tuned. Here we come. We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us in. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. We want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We have Caveman, we have Duke, we are talking Sasquatch all night long here on this big show. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Yeah.
Caveman, I want to ask you right off the bat here, if you don't mind. You say you got a bunch of different creatures that are in your area. Have you ever heard of any encounters with Sasquatch versus Dogman?
The way I see it, they're partners. They're partners. They don't go against each other or anything. Maybe if there's a squabble, something like that, they'll cause a ruckus. And as I have seen it, they go alongside. You know, they work with each other. That's what I've seen. You know, you see like a wolf or some funny-looking thing that's walking on all fours that has like ears. That's kind of like back, like just like a Vulcan, but much longer. And they're like that, and then here the big man will be coming around afterwards. Also, you know, they wouldn't have no, they wouldn't just fight or anything like that. I've never seen that.
Duke, have you heard about the encounters between Dogman and Sasquatch? Because Caveman kind of threw me for a loop there, saying that he believes they're working together.
I've heard that a bunch of times too, and I got researchers that have sent me pictures that have, you know, yeah, here I am in my Sasquatch research area. There's a Dogman here for some reason. A couple of them even sent me pictures where there's a Sasquatch and a Dogman in the same picture. So, yeah, some of them seem to get along with some of the Dogmen, and then there's other ones that they don't get along with.
Is it territorial?
I think it kind of depends on if they want to accept them in their area or not, because it seems like the Sasquatch are a lot more numerous than a Dogman is. So if they want to let the Dogman travel through their territory, if they want to let them live there, probably depends on temperament. If it's going to be one of them that's causing trouble and making humans disappear, they probably don't want them there. That attracts too much attention.
What do you think on that, K-Man?
Well, I think that the hunting is much more subtle. You know, it can take a lot, you know, like that. But then the Dogman is more ornery. And in its nature, it's just,
yeah, exactly. There's a
the way I see it.
famous famous meme going around the internet that's got a picture of Sasquatch on one side and it says shy, non-aggressive, curious, tries to avoid conflict, and then it shows Dogman on the other side and it says pretty much just a dick.
Dogman is an over-aggressive house cat, just pissed off that it's a Friday night. That's all I'm saying. Right? Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Can you imagine Dogman on a Monday? Oh my gosh. Waking up, I got to go to work again. Got to go feed the kids and, run around the forest, scare some people. All I want to do is kick my feet up and relax, but I can't. Mrs. Dogman, she's getting all pissed off and getting in my jam. I tell you, I could see it happen. Totally makes sense to me. Totally makes sense.
I had a native shaman telling me that Dogman are the policemen of the woods, and I said, what do you mean policemen of the woods? They're like keeping track of what everybody's doing or making sure that the cryptids and the animals aren't breaking laws, or what are you talking about? No, nothing like that. They're the policemen of the woods. When the cops pull up in the squad car with the lights flashing, everybody runs in every direction? Yeah, they're the policemen of the woods. Oh, okay, I get it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Caveman, do you have any stories or experiences where you have seen Sasquatch and then UFO or extraterrestrial encounters quite close together?
Well, I have never experienced that. I've experienced them separate, but I've never experienced them together. I've never, got into that. I mean, I've never seen it. It's always, different from each other. I have photos of a UFO going into, I don't know, another dimension or something like that. I have 5 quick clicks on my phone that I've done, and it was hanging out right there somewhere on top of the river, and it just disappeared. And there was some kind of cloud or something like that it disappeared into. The whole thing disappeared. That's what I've seen on the UFO. Just click, 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 click. I was just clicking through my my phone. That's how I got them 5 pictures. That just happened so fast. The other one is for the Sasquatch, the Hosteen. I've seen them physically. They take off so fast that it makes them look more spiritual, like it just disappeared right there. They can hide behind a 2-foot bush. As big as they are, they can hide behind it and probably do one of those Fred Flintstone kind of thing with their toes and go away. I would be spotlighting to the place where I've seen it just drop real fast. And when I start to throw rocks there, then there's nothing. And then when I run over there, there's nothing. I don't, I've never seen both of them together.
How about for you, Duke?
No, the only UFO I ever saw is when I was a kid. I was out in the winter late at night, and it was nice clear sky and really cold, and I was just kind of trudging around, and I looked up, and there was this, it looked like a teardrop or a balloon shape, it was upside down. It wasn't bulbous side up, it was bulbous side down, and it was glowing in red, and it was just kind of hovering. It wasn't making any sound. And it just kind of slowly drifted away across the sky. So flying, yes. Object, yes. Unidentified, yes. What was it? I have no idea. But in all the times that I've been around Sasquatch, and even in some of the areas where, I brought Caveman up to one of the active areas here in 2019, and there's friggin' Bigfoot all over the place there. He saw 2 of them. And never seen any UFO activity up there either.
I have a question from Jenny, a little bit off topic for you, Caveman.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know if the Thunderbirds are still flying here and not the U.S. Air Force kind?
The Thunderbirds, people just talk about it. I've never seen one. Just a real big, what do they call, buzzards. Those are the ones that I have seen. And that's why I started to looking on YouTube, and then they started saying that the condor has like a 7 to 8 wingspan, 7 to 8 feet wingspan. But the ones that I have seen around, there's a big volcano rock that just comes out the earth, the frozen lava or something like that. They seem to, get attracted by them. That's where all the big birds are at. Those things are giant.
All right, question coming from Stephanie, who is asking, do you believe that indigenous people can see Sasquatch better than the rest of the population?
Yes, I do. Because we act the same way still. That's why, there's always a joke about natives or First Nation. We are behind the times, maybe 20 to 30 years behind the mainstream society. We're still living the way that we want to live. So they come around and they know our language, they know what we do, when we do things, and all of that. And you go out there, and eventually, there's going to be some kind of a thing. The one thing I notice is they don't like people that are like boastful. That's what I've noticed also. And if you just do your own thing, then they might throw pebbles at you and let you know that they're there. And from there, you tell them, hey, some people get scared, they take off, and then that's the end of the camping trip or whatever. But then if it's like you stay around and you just tell them, hey, you get something, some food way out there 100 feet away for them, and then let them be on that site. They'll go that way. Then that means, you're separate from me. I don't want you coming to my camp. That's the reason why our old folks, they used to come around when they would say, don't just throw the food, all the scraps and all that right by the door. Take it way out there. If you're even feeding the dogs, take it way out there. And then whatever comes to get it, then they'll just stay out there. Then they know.
All right, question coming from D. Swiger for you. And Duke, you haven't spoken in a while. We'll get you to answer this one first. Are Sasquatch ever musical, whether it's to drums or song or other musical instruments?
Some of their tree knocking sure seems pretty rhythmical. Interesting vocals that they do and stuff too. I mean, it's not like we've got any recordings of them doing it or anything, but I would strongly suspect they probably do. And another thing that's pretty well known by researchers is if you got some, mellow, non-aggressive music or something playing in camp, they seem to be more drawn toward it than if you're just sitting there not making any kind of noise or anything. So I think they like it. I think they're just as attuned to the idea of music and stuff as humans are. They're just not sitting around with guitars out there playing.
How about for you, Caveman?
They like to beat on stuff. And like I said, they use a lot of the N-word, M, and they'll yell out every once in a while. So it kind of sounds funny when they start to do that. When they'll be booking it really fast. Pop, 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 pop. That's how fast that they'll be banging on something. And then after that, while they're doing that, then they'll say, all of this going on with a deep voice, and it'll stop. All of a sudden, there's just quietness. And then it's going to start up again. And it did pop, 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 pop. We'll start out with all of that. And then it starts singing again. Say that. And then you yell out, "Hey, you want me to teach you how to sing?" Then it goes quiet.
Don't be shaving those Sasquatch. They get mad at you, caveman.
Yeah. So then, that to me, that's how they like music, or the music that they make. They'll do that.
I like to point out one thing about where Caveman is situated and how this plays into the whole situation. Like he said, he's got a wash on one side of the mesa, and on the other side is the San Juan River. So they like to use the rivers as travel corridors. And like he said, they don't stay put very much around his area. It's kind of sparse living, so they have to move around. So there's their main superhighway going right past the mesa. What's on the edge of the mesa? Caveman's house. What's there? Oh, a corral with horse feed. It's like a little pit stop if you're going down the road in the freeway and you're like, oh, I'm getting low on gas. I want to pull over to this gas station over here and fill up again, and get something to eat, and then we'll take off again. So, what do you think, Caveman? They still visiting you pretty regular?
They go from the San Juan River to the Chuckawash, and I just seem to live right there, that skinny area, and then they come around like, oh, what is he doing? Let's scare him for a while or something like that, and then that's what I think. And
Did you get him to
tapping on the windows?
Did you get him to stay out of your horse feed now, or are they still pillaging that every so often?
I brought the horse feed inside the house, and then I started to
problem solved.
To try and break down my door, or not break it down. I twist my doorknob, and I had to buy new doorknobs. For a period of history that one time. So I was like, they would twist that doorknob as to where it locked up. And then on the inside, you try to turn it in the morning time, you try to turn it as to where you want to go outside. So that's one thing that I've noticed, that they do that. And they'd be tapping on the window, looking in the windows and all of that. One time I was really, that new movie I was thinking this is, real good. I got a movie called Quest for Fire. And here I watched it laying down, on the couch, all relaxed. When the movie ended and all the credits started coming out, I turned around on the couch, and here it was standing behind me on that window. That's when I used to live in a mobile home. Standing right there. And there's a street light that showed its silhouette right there at the window. And all I did, at first I turned off the movie. And so I looked back again, and they were still standing there. So I just restarted the movie. And I don't know, I just covered my head, and then I don't know when the movie stopped again. After that, I was, asleep. I didn't want to look no more.
Why didn't you just invite him in for a beer to join you on the couch?
They probably stink.
Well, you got to consider the consequences. If he had stopped the movie from playing and it was like really getting into it, and decided to come into the house and turn it back on again, that would have been kind of bad.
Here, I got a story for that, Dave. There's this guy that always used to drink and drive around way up in the mountains. And he was telling me, one time I was drinking and driving up in the mountains, minding my own business. And here, I parked at a tree line, and then there's a big meadow in front of me. I didn't want to cross that. I don't know, I was just, in the shade. The sun was at maybe 6 o'clock. You know, I mean, it was about 6 o'clock. The sun is still out, and here he said he was just, you know, boozing it, and then he saw this one man. He said, in his drunken state, he said he saw this man run out of the tree line, way about maybe 1,000 feet. And then it ran back into the tree line. It did that a couple more times. And then he honks his horn and he says, "Hey, I need somebody to drink with over here." And then as the sun was going down, you know, it really started to, you know, get on top of the mountain that was sticking out. And the shadows started coming in. And here, all of a sudden, when the sun went down, there's a guy, he said, he didn't really notice because he was kind of drunk too, but it was getting dark. There's this guy that came in front of his truck, and it came up to him, and then he says he just, you know, opened a can of Budweiser, and then he gave it to him. He says, hello, buddy. And then it took it, and he looked over there, and then he said it was a guy, funny-looking guy, real ugly, he said. And he drank the beer and threw it. What he was doing was he was throwing his beer cans in the back of his truck, and so that thing threw that can, the empty can, in the back of his truck too. So they kept on drinking. They started drinking. He just kept giving them beer and all of that. And there were 2 cases of. Actually, there was 3 cases that he took up there to drink by himself. And they drank all that 1 case of beer, you know, just talking away. And he said that guy just sat down right by his truck, just squatting down towards him. And he was talking to him. Every once in a while, he would say, he just, you know. And to him, it was like, okay, again, and or something like that. So he kept on talking to him. And then he told him, he was looking at him, you know, that this guy was a hippie. He's a hippie, long hair, all shaggy and everything, just looking at me. He's all ugly, he said. So he told him, he kind of knocked him, kind of like with 2 fingers on top of his forehead and said, "You're ugly." You know, the Navajo, that man there was, you know, starting to have beer muscles. And he kind of tapped him on the forehead. And here, it didn't do anything. And then he said, it laughed too. It laughed back at me, like that. And then they kept on drinking. The next was the second beer and all of that. It's like, golly, I said, that's a lot of beer you guys drink. And he said, well, I passed out after the middle of the second case. I passed out. At first, it started to feel on my face. And I told him, hey, you know, stop bothering me. And it started to kind of like, I don't know how, feel him up his shoulders and everything and all of that. And he told him, hey, you know, you gay guy, you know, I didn't want to be, you know, drinking with no gay guy. So then he just said that to him, and he swapped his hand away. And then that guy settled down, the one that was on the outside. And he said that guy was real tall. And he was wearing a big jacket, too. And here, he passed out after that. He didn't know. And I don't know what happened, but the next morning, right around 10 o'clock, the sun started to shine on me, and I got hot, and I woke up, he says. And I felt to pee. So then he woke up, got out of his truck, and he looked around. There was no guy there. And he looked at all his beer and all that. All of it's gone. And here he went about 10 feet away from his truck. And he was hung over, like he said, and he wanted to pee, so he started peeing. Right there, about 10 feet away from his truck. And here,
Well, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. I'm going to get you to hold on right there. I apologize because we do have to go to break here at the top of the hour. Strange stories of Sasquatch continuing after this. If this continues, I may have to cancel the news and ask these guys to stick around. This is way too much fun. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. That is awesome.
Caveman has some of the best. You know, he's
Dude,
got
how are you not even
pissing
yourself laughing right now?
I've heard most of his stories before. Caveman's got enough stories of his own that have happened to him that he could do 6 shows with you, and he's just starting to talk about some of the ones that he's heard that other people have told him and stuff. And then he could do like another 6 shows.
Okay, I'm just gonna run my dogs out. I'll be right back, guys.
All right. Caveman, take it away. I'm going to go have a couple drags off with Sigel. I got a minute here.
Yeah, I'm just watching the chat, the live chat and all of that. Now, thank you guys, for the ones that, think you guys know what I'm talking about, with that. And like I said, like I always say, everybody has their stories, no matter how much messed up they are. Everybody has their stories. All of that, so that's just the wild. That's just how it is, and it's everybody has their stories. And another shout out to Jenny out there, and Bomber, Susan, and all that. Shout out to you guys. No, probably Sovereign Cosmic Wallman. Yeah, I'm probably a Sasquatch. That's how I always think everybody else is, based on the gorillas in Africa, and then the ones in Russia and England and all of that. So that's everybody looks the same as them. Much smaller, but probably came out. That's the reason why they always had when these scientists test their blood, they say, oh, it's contaminated, it has human DNA in it. No, it probably came from them. That's what I think. T-Rev, shout out to you too. And all these guys that I used to have as buddies on Facebook. Damn it. Bama. I remember these names out here. I'm doing a lot of homework. That's the reason why it takes everything away from me. Sorry, guys. I haven't been on Facebook. My page is still up. Hot Teams FK, all of that. So, I just do that and all of that. Yeah, T-Rev, I just say which story do you want me to tell? It just starts coming in, and even some of the ones that I forgot too. Even my brothers or sisters or cousins, they might say, remember this happened to us? And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, huh? Stuff like that. But I don't think I'm an expert at it. I observed all the things that I, firsthand. Hey, Jenny Christensen. So that's that on that side and all of that. So I just do what I say what I see, and I'll come back to that. So, hey, Caveman, Caroline, hey, long time no hear. And all that, and all these guys coming in, Cat Taster. I have one more week of finals. then hopefully I graduate. So, no, that's why I tell Duke, wait, just wait. I'll get on your show again, and that's it.
Good. You're welcome back anytime, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Like Duke said, Professor Caveman.
Do you guys want to do the full show, or do you want to cut out after half an hour?
Oh, I can hang around for it.
Caveman?
Hell, we're having fun, man. Let's have fun.
Let's do it. Sorry, Captain Shirk. Don't be mad. My news lady, she's going to crack a whip on me for this. Oh, God. All right.
Caveman's got one of his own that's just that good, too, Dave. It's the skunk hunting story.
Okay, well, we'll continue on here. Let me just say a big thank you to everybody who has participated in the Super Chat tonight. Andrew for a couple times. Stephanie, Chad, Kyle, Dirt Road, Robin Ward, Queen Bee, T-Rev, Len So's, Cat Chaser, Dirty Filth, Cat Chaser again, Andrew again, Mr. Catfish, Murray F., and Cat Chaser with a hat trick, and Mr. Ed Clater. Absolutely. We love you guys, and thank you to all of our new subscribers, everyone who has given a thumbs up. We're going to take this right to the top. The gorgeous and talented, as well as stunning, Nicole Sasquatch has joined us in the chat room. Let's give her a round of applause, everyone. Nicole Sasquatch, there she is. All right, let's get this going right now. Captain Shirk's going to kick my butt.
Fate.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate you and your listening ears. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Cacotopia. Cacotopia is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight with Duke and Caveman. We're talking Bigfoot all night long with these great guys. And here we go again. Right before the break, Caveman, you were telling a story about some friends who were a little intoxicated, possibly getting hit on by Sasquatch. You know, I don't know what the heck's going on here.
Yeah. Where was I with it?
He went
to take a pee.
He went to take a pee.
He got out of his truck, and then he just started peeing right there, right there, 10 feet away. He didn't care. He was out there by himself. And just when he finished peeing, he turned around, and there was some noise, kind of like to his side, maybe another 10 feet lateral. And here, he stood there looking that way. All of a sudden, this hot teen gets up just the way as the Undertaker does when he starts getting beat up on WWE. He just sits up like that, and then he lets out a yell, and then covers his head like this, over his forehead, and kind of looked at him. And the guy caught himself looking at it, and that's when he knew who he drank with that night. He thought it was a man that was just out there, just wandering around. He thought he drank with him, but it was actually a hot team that he drank with.
You gotta be kidding me.
So that's one thing, he told me. I said, hey, never know what else they will do to you, being out there by yourself. He says, oh, come on, don't say that. He said, so that was it.
Well, don't give all your damn beer to somebody you can't even see when you're dead drunk. That's not good tactically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing, that's how the storms are. Or, like when I was up there, I was taken to on top of the mountain. The Chiska Mountains are like 40 miles to the west of me. And I was taking deer hunting out there, and me and this one buddy of mine, we were out there, just roughing it. Only sleeping bags, that was it. And we laid out, head to head on each other. The next thing I know, I looked out. I just opened my eyes. I didn't hear nothing, no ruffling, nothing like that. I opened my eyes, and these two big eyes just looking back at me. And so I just like, whoa, what was that? And then it took off into the dark. Don't know when it snuck up on me while I was laying down. I don't know, but it was. I noticed that it was squatting down, looking at me, real about maybe a foot or something like that. Really focused in on me to see what I'm doing, and that's what they do, like that. And all these things. We have a shade arbor house, a shade house that when I was growing up. This is in Arizona. My brothers and my cousin brothers and my cousins, we all, used to all hang around, be terrorists of that little community. And we used to go back in there in the evening, and they had those military metal beds that somehow got into our possession, and we put them all in there. Anyway, we would lay down on it, and then we'd go to sleep on it. And late at night, we know this guy just comes in. He just comes. We have a door, plywood as a door to that entrance, and the only way to move it is to slide it to the side, and then you go in. We were kind of like half asleep, look at it, and this guy would come in, and it was immediately go to the last person that's laying way down there. And this shade house was probably about maybe 30 feet by 15 feet, all the way back. So it was a big shade house. And here, one after the other, it would bother those guys. And these guys would say, hey, don't bother me. Go on, get out of here, drunk guy. And this guy stunk. And it would come down the line. When it came to me, then it would bother my nose. It would stick his fingers, its nails, up my nose. That's the first thing it would do. And I was, slap its hand. Go on, get out of here, go drink somewhere else. And then you could feel like it's breathing on you because it's sitting so close. And then it would kind of like just massage your forehead also, kind of brush your hair with its hands, and then pick at your ears, and then every crevice that you have on your face, it would put its hands there or fingers, and then you swap it away. And then somebody out of the darkness, they would say, it's that man again. Then go on, we curse at it, all of it. If there's like 2 or 3 people that starts talking, then it just gets up and walks out without saying nothing. And then the next day we'd say, that drunk guy, the hobo came around again. That's how we looked at it. we never thought that it was the Huff team. We never thought that. So it came around like that. It just we never thought it was the boogeyman. Our boogeyman out here is the skinwalker. So we didn't know who that one was, the one that stank, So we just thought it was a hobo. And it always coming to us late at night. So
Caveman, you got another example of that kind of stuff going on. You remember when you were young, and you had that one skunk hanging around the property that was causing trouble, and you were trying to kill him with a rock?
Oh yeah. This was on the New Mexico side. I was herding sheep for my grandma, and she started missing chickens. So during when I took the sheep out there, I was riding a horse, and as I was coming back, I saw the chicken thief, and I looked at it, and I started to run over it with my horse. My horse didn't want to anymore, and I got off, and I got a big stick, 1 inch by 5 foot or something like that. I got it and started beating on that chicken, not that chicken, but the skunk. It was a skunk, so I got that skunk and then hit it over the head, and then it would pee at me, and then it smelled like burnt rubber when you're up close, I guess, going to a skunk when it's peeing on you, spraying or something like that. And here, it just did that, and then I kept swatting at it. It wouldn't die. So the sun just went down. The moon came up. And I was still out there trying to kill the chicken thief. I wanted to be a hero to my grandma. And here, all of a sudden, I looked back. The sheep were gone. Even my horse was running up the hill, and I was standing there. And I swapped at it again, but that skunk kept getting back up. It wouldn't die. So all of a sudden, I was standing there, only about 10 feet away from the skunk. I was tired. All of a sudden, this black man comes out from past one of the finger hills. It came out and it went to where the skunk was and bit it. They picked it up and bit its head. And I could hear it, and it just went crunch. And I just stood there. Some black guy just went out there, and I didn't know, anything about that black guy and all of that. I was standing there by myself too. So I got up. I started walking up the hill, and my fun was gone, like that. So I walked up on top of one hill that was fingering out, and I started throwing rocks back at that man. But it killed my fun. It turned into fun saving my grandma's chicken, and it ate it all. It was just crunching away. And I started walking back, and then all of a sudden, when I kind of got in view of my grandma's house, I could see my grandma's flashlight way out there. Hey, where are you at? This is Old Neville. And where are you at? And I said, I'm over here. And he said, come over here. It's time to eat. So I started running. And she went back into her house. It's a round house made out of clay. And I ran in there, and my grandpa and my grandma were like, woo, that stinks, get back outside. So I went back outside, and here my grandma came out with a real big bucket, the one that I could sit in, and she came out with it. She started washing me. It's not coming off, she said. So she goes back in there, gets a pine pole, and laundry detergent and all of that. And then she started washing me with it, and she said I can still smell it. And she washed me with it, and she says, okay, just eat real fast. And I ate real fast, and my grandpa was all mad about it. Why are you out there playing around and all of that? So, and during that time, I told my grandma, I saw a black man out there. It ate your chicken thief. And so I came back. I said, I was trying to kill that skunk. It was a skunk, so I was trying to kill it. And then this black man came out from somewhere, and then it just ate that skunk. And she kind of gave me a hug after that, and she said, no, don't go out there at night. There's things out there at night that, that we're not supposed to see, she said. And I said, well, what I saw, is a black man. So that happened. She rolled me up in one of those, her blanket, rolled me up like a burrito, and then put me on there, and I went to sleep like that. Next morning, she took me out to the San Juan River, and I had to wade in the water all day just to get that smell back off of me. That's
Wow.
one thing that happened to me too.
Wow. So what you're looking at is what you think is a human, but in reality is a lanky Sasquatch that came up and was eating the skunk in front of you.
Yeah.
That is
That's
amazing.
what I mean. All this time when I was growing up, I thought either it was a hobo, a drunk man, an alcoholic, a homeless person, all of that. That's what I thought all during my teenage years as I was growing up, and never really did anything. Only that one time when my dad says, okay, you hang around at school or after school, probably for those girls that are out there, they're no good, she said. They're ugly. He's all saying that to me. If you want to run, don't be hanging around out there, at school. And here, he started making me run 0 dark 30. And that's when, as Navajos, when we run, right when the star comes out, the Venus comes out in the morning, that's 0 dark 30, 4:30 or something like that. And here, he would wake me up, and then he said, go run. You want to be a runner, you want to be all of that, I want to teach you how to be a warrior, he said. You're supposed to run, go yell, curse everything, tell them that you're up and you're stronger than them with your mind, and you have arrows and lightning coming out your body. And you're the only person that's strong out there telling them, because that's what you're supposed to say in this warrior training. And so I would get up early in the morning every day for about maybe a month. And here, one time I was still sleepy, so I sat right by the house for a little while, about 30 minutes, kind of dozed off again. Then I thought, I got to get going. My dad's going to get mad at me. So I took off and way out there, and it started to get lit up more. And here, as I was running, I saw something running on the side, kind of maybe in the back at my 5 o'clock or something like that. I saw something there running in the bushes, go from bush to bush. And I kept on running. I didn't mind it. And I got to the tip of a hill. And here, when I turned around, it was right behind me. I'd say been no more than about 20 feet, something like that. And that one was like beige. And it had real big hair. And it looked ugly. And it looked like it had horns hanging down from his hair. So I looked at it. I looked at it eyeball to eyeball. And here I'm supposed to be the strongest warrior in the world, like that. And I'm looking at this whatever, this ugly man. So then I called out my cousin. Hey, is that you putting on a monkey face or something like that? And then it didn't answer. So I picked up a rock and threw it at it. And I only made it one step back, all kind of like hunched over, looking at me. So then I said, don't follow me, so you're going to get hurt. And I took off again, all the way down and back down. And then there was a butte that was back where I run. And here, I ran on top of it. Because I was determined to be the ultimate warrior. And I did all of that. I stood from there, and I looked back to where I'd seen that thing. And here, he was sticking his head out on the side of the hill, or he maybe crawl up onto the top of it, and then it would stick. It kept doing that. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to beat it. When it puts its head down again, I'm going to take off down this butte, and then go all the way to the ground, and go past these two hills, and then without it, finding out where it was. I did that. I took off. When it stuck its head down again, I took off downhill. I was running big time. And when I came out those two hills, I looked to where it was, where I had seen it. I swear, I saw how a baboon runs with all that hair, really going back and forth like that. It was running at me like that. So I, envisioned a baboon running towards me, a real big baboon running towards me. So I got scared big time, and I took off really fast, crossed the whole kind of like desert road and down the wash, went up the wash, past the tree line. And as I was coming in, I had tears coming out my eyes when I met my uncle. My uncle was going towards my dad's house. And my uncle was all looking at me like, what are you doing out here early in the morning? I said, there's something that ran after me. And he's looking at me. And then he says that after that, and then he says, where's your dad? Does your dad know about it? I said, yeah, he's the one that wakes me up early in the morning, right when, the eastern star comes out. I said, and then he says, just then my dad walked out of his house, started walking to where we were. And then he got mad. Hey, what the hell are you doing to this little boy? There's horse face that lives down below in those washes and all of that. He says, you want your child to get eaten? And then my dad's looking at me, as I was smaller than him, maybe shoulder height. And he's looking down at me. And then he pats me on the back and says, well, did you beat it? I said, yeah, it stopped somewhere at the tree line. And he says, good to go, son. You beat all the monsters that are out there. He says that, no remorse, none whatsoever. And then he said, well, then get ready and go to school. The bus hasn't come yet. So then I had to do that. No remorse. That's warrior training. Nothing. You get chased out there, and then you run. But the good thing about all of this, the positive side about all of this, was my time per mile came out to be 4 minutes and 28 seconds. So I was booking it.
Practicing with monsters chasing you, that helps, right?
Totally helps.
Yeah.
Totally helps.
No, that's why I say no coach trained me. Bigfoot trained me.
Well, gentlemen, we are going to take a break here at the bottom of the hour, and we're having way too much fun. We're going to continue this when we come back from the break. When we get back, I know Stephanie has a question about the little people of the forest, and she wants to know what's going on with them. We will be back very shortly with your questions, as well as more with our guest tonight. We got Duke, we got Caveman. We are talking Sasquatch all night long. And, man, has this been entertaining and great radio tonight. The stories are running rampant. The woo is nearly at peak woo, and we're having a fun time. Stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. We're clear, guys.
Yay. Man, Dave, you're having a smoking week here this week. You've had nothing but home run shows all week long.
Oh, thanks, buddy. That's courtesy of Corns, the booking guy.
He's doing good.
Yep. You got these stories.
Putting up coffee and caveman, it'll go on for days. Yeah, we even brought up the fact that he was up here for an expedition summer 2019, and we had Sasquatch swarming all over us up there. He was sitting on the far side of a truck away from the campfire in the dark, watching two of them come across the river. And one of them wouldn't cross the river. The other one came across and snuck all the way up to camp. Took him about 45 minutes. He was about 30 feet away from Caveman, sitting on the other side of the tree. And one of my researchers walks around the truck in the dark because the campfire is dying down, and we got a bunch of timber laying over there that he's going to drag over a piece. He grabs onto one, and he turns around, looks at Caveman, and he goes, "Why do I get this feeling something's watching me?" And Caveman kind of gives him a little laugh, and he goes, "Because there's a Hofstein behind that tree about 30 feet away watching you." And Mike real nonchalantly goes, "Oh, that must be what it is," and just drags the log around the truck. Like, oh yeah, it happens every day.
Gee whiz. Oh, my God.
I'm going to go run quick, grab a couple of
you
dries
go.
off the seg. I'll be right back, guys.
All right, drink some water.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I had fun with Duke when I went out to Montana.
Got a couple questions from our audience here coming up here for you, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Matt.
We got a couple minutes left.
No. Man, there's a lot of people. A lot of people. I have a lot of pictures of all of them, but one time I pushed the wrong button and deleted my whole USB.
Oh, yeah. I've had that happen.
I was so mad at myself.
I know that feeling all too well. Excuse me. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. Bama. He wants me to talk about the time I tied myself to my brother.
Well, let me get the let me get these other questions out of the way, and then we'll get into that one, okay?
Okay. Yeah, T-Rev, I don't need no technology. I have a way to look to see in the dark.
Nice.
Ancient Chinese secret.
Perfect.
Joe Monk, that's what you have to do because that's what they do. They throw rocks.
Back again.
All right, Super Duke. We got a couple minutes left.
We're having so much fun.
We got about a minute left, guys.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm keeping my video camera handy here because I keep having huge deer outside grazing at night. And last night I was looking at $3 and I was like, what are these, mule deer or something? Oh my God, they're gigantic. You know, you got like a
Hold
full-size,
on, boys. Sorry, Duke. We got 10 seconds. We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we bring in Duke. We bring in Caveman. We're talking Sasquatch all night long here. Gentlemen, I want to kick things off with a question from Stephanie, who is asking about the little people. And these are these, what are they, 12 to 18-inch tall little people who can be pretty much tricksters in their legend, Caveman.
Okay. There's two incidents that I know about. One is there was something that was always making noise underneath my mobile home when I used to live in a mobile home. And, you know, the pipes down there would be like going boing, boing, and stuff like that. Or, you know, just some like a mouse kind of scratch its way through the wood or something like that. It would sound like that. I left it alone. And as long as my door was locked and my windows are locked and the curtains are real heavy and couldn't look through and all of that, I was good to go. But then one time I was laying on my bed, and at the time I had a significant other, so she was laying on the side. And here I slept like with my right arm, my left arm all fully extended, and my head would be on there, and that was my pillow. And that's how I slept, to the side, all not curled up, but just like that, with my legs kind of tucked in into me. And here, one night, something grabbed my thumb. I guess it was just sticking out off the bed or something like that. Something grabbed my my thumb, and it kind of woke me up. And as my head was on my head, and it was kind of, my eyes are kind of along the way of my arms and my face, I'm sorry. And my eyes just looked up. I opened my eyes, and there was that low green light from the clock that I had. I had, 6 by 4 clock, real big clock. And here it would light up. It keep it dim inside my room. And here, I looked at it, and there's this thing, the real small guy, came up with my thumb. It jumped onto the bed real slowly, and then it stepped over my hand. And that guy was probably somewhere 12 to 14 inches. And I was looking at it, I was kind of like just not really sleepy, but I was thinking, what the, is this? And so it looked at me. It kept staring. It just, once it crossed my hand, it stood there for a long time. And I don't know if it had spaghetti sticks or something, or it had sticks in his hand, but it had like spear or something like that in his hand. That's what I thought it was. And it was looking at me, and I was looking back, and I kind of moved. We stared at each other for about, I would say, 2 minutes, something like that. It was some time that we were staring at each other. It was maybe looking at me to see if I, was asleep so he can continue on what he's doing or something. But I was looking at it like that. I was thinking, what the, And here, when I moved, it just jumped back down on beside the bed, and it scurried away along the wall, and it disappeared. I could hear the sound all the way into my walk-in closet.
Wow. And
here, I didn't think nothing. I'm just probably imagining stuff. That's what I thought. Now I'm seeing little Sasquatches out here. So the next morning I got up. The woman goes to work and all that. I got up lazy, and this was on my vacation. I looked into the walk-in closet, and here I was digging around. There was a crack in my drywall in that closet that I had to use just my thumb and my forefinger to open it up, and that's how loose it was. And I looked down, and I could see all the way to the bottom of my mobile home. This is inside my house. And I started to find out what it was. And then at the same time, I used to have cats. And my cats would start disappearing also. So I thought it might be a coyote or a fox or anything. But these cats were too shy that they sometimes wouldn't come out during the day, and they would just crawl back and forth underneath the mobile home. To me, it was killing all the mice if the mice were coming in. So I was good to go for that. And they started disappearing, my cat. And then I put up one of those field cameras on my west side of the trailer, and then on the north side. Both times they took a picture of the little thing that I saw, and I have pictures of those. And I used to have them up on Facebook also. And I just, would just take pictures, and then that's it. And that's, for me, that's the little people, 12 to 14 inches long. And some of them, the ones that I've taken pictures out there on the outside, they have hair on them. But the one that I've seen would only had hair on the shoulders, and then on the private parts too. So that's that. That's my story on it.
If anybody wants to see the game cam pics that he's referencing, I've actually shown them on one of the shows on my channel. Caveman was on talking about this incident. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, Caveman, but culturally, you guys really don't have anything on the little people, and they didn't even really start showing up on the res until shortly after 1980 when Mount St. Helens blew up, and then they started showing up in the northern part of the res.
Yeah, we don't have we don't have little people talking about little people or anything like that out here. We don't have anything on. If we did, then we would have had a name for it.
And it wasn't just you. There was that one property that they were, what was it, like, I want to say like a boys' school or something like that, or it might even have been abandoned at the time where they were hanging around there all the time. People kept seeing them.
Yes. That's, after Mount St. To me, that's what I think. After Mount St. Helens blew up, majority of the migration of all these boogeymen all went south, some of them, and it started to come back around.
I got a question coming as we move on because we are running out of time. Question coming from Sovereign, who is asking, are you allowed caveman in the restricted areas of the Grand Canyon where the Hopi originated from?
No, I'm not. That's government area.
All right.
There's one tribe that lives in the canyon, but they're not Navajo.
They're Havasupai.
Yeah.
All right. We can move on here as we continue on here. So we got about 10 minutes left, guys, and we're cruising on by. Duke, you haven't spoke much tonight because we've been enjoying so much of Caveman's incredible stories. Do you have a story of Caveman's that we haven't heard tonight that you absolutely love?
Wow, he's got a ton of them, and he's told a bunch of the better ones tonight. Anybody, if you want to hear more Caveman, he's done a bunch of episodes on my show. You can go check those out, and he'll be on again here soon. One of my favorite episodes that I had with him is actually talking more about the folklore and legendary of his people, and historical accounts and how it relates to stuff that they've actually verified with cultural archaeology and DNA testing, and the legends of the Navajo of actually fighting the giants and chasing them off the continent. A whole bunch of tribes teaming up to do so, and it seems to sound like they chased them up through Alaska across the Bering Strait, and then left part of the tribe there to make sure they couldn't come back across again. And that's easy to pass off as folklore until you realize that the Navajo are the Dene, and the tribes up in Alaska are called the Dene. And somebody made that link and did some DNA testing, and they are in fact the same people. So that leaves you to decide if the scientists have the right story, or if the people that were involved in it have the right story.
Very true. Very true. And historically, First Nations people have always had a very close relationship with everything spiritual. And kind of tying this whole show in together, Caveman, you believe that this is a spiritual type being of from the past that has been able to evolve through the future, correct?
Yeah. Without the vortex and all that, I don't understand that one.
Okay. So how about the idea that this creature can just vanish?
That's what I mean when I was saying they can take off real fast at a blink of an eye. They're so fast when they want to take off that it just looks like they disappeared. So I didn't see, like I was saying, I didn't see no vortex open that they walked into or run into or anything like that. But I seen it drop, and behind a little bush, and I was throwing rocks at it. But then when I walked up or when I ran up to it, it was gone. And they just moved really fast.
We've had examples of that, researchers seeing them move at that, they refer to it cartoonish speed. It becomes a blur like you'd see on an old, Bugs Bunny cartoon or something. But that doesn't seem to account for everything that they can do. Like here's the classic example of the tracks going through the snow, and all of a sudden they just dead end in the middle of a clearing.
All right. Let's get to a question here. Oh, maybe it's not a question. So what do you think Sasquatch is? Do you think it is something that lives in caves? Does it live underground? Where do you think it's living?
Wherever it can go to sleep. It will burrow itself in the ground if it can do that. The easiest way that they do things is pile some branches together and then just crawl in there, and then that's that. And they, like I said, they're still nomadic. They go from place to place. You know, if you see in one place, and then another person will see another place, and all of that. I'd say 65% of the reservation have had encounters here on the Navajo Reservation.
Caveman, how far is Brenda from you? About, what, 20 miles?
About 10. No, I'd say about 10 or 12 miles.
10 miles? Because I've been on the phone with these guys before where Brenda is actually listening to Bigfoot and making calls and stuff near where she's at. And she'll call Randy and say, hey, they're coming in your direction. Can you hear him yet? And shortly he's outside and he can hear him coming in his direction, coming down the San Juan. And then he sits out there and listens to him for an hour or so.
Yep, that's what I mean. We communicate with what we're doing.
I got a question from Joe coming in here, and he is asking, how come sometimes Sasquatch stinks really, really bad, and then sometimes you can't smell him at all?
Caveman, you remember the one we smelled when you were up here, the summer 2019, and we were trying to get everything packed up and stuff, and we're rolling up the tents, and Caveman goes, oof, what's that smell? There's one over here. And I'm like, I don't smell anything. About 30 seconds later, I caught a whiff of it, and I'm like, oh, wet dog sewage and electrical fire combined. And I'm thinking to myself, and I say out loud, wow, take a bath, dude, you reek. And clear, you know, I'm figuring there was one about what do you think, Caveman, 30, 40 feet away from us, sneaking up the embankment on that river?
That on the outside the river.
Yeah, you could smell the air coming from them going down the river past us. And at that point, we were prompted to pack up even faster because it still wasn't dark yet, and they were like getting way too close.
Yeah, they like to eat spoiled food just as much as we like fresh food. Yeah, they'll make a kill and all of that, and they'll wait on it until the meat goes soft, and that's the reason why, you know, when the meat goes soft, then there's like all kinds of bugs, flies, and all of that on there. They'll just shush it away and just eat it.
William Lunsford, who was on Monday, had that happen here recently in a place he does research in where the place is overrun with pigs, and they had to have a hog assassin in there take out a bunch of them. And he had 4 or 5 really big pigs laying side by side, dead in the sun, down in the south, stinking really bad. And like 2 days later, William came back, and one of the pigs was gone. Well, who picks up a 300-plus pound rotting pig and just trots off with it?
Reminds me of that story, that Air Force pilot who was out hunting, so I think somewhere in Florida or something like that, where he was sitting up in a tree stand, and he thought it was a guy in a ghillie suit coming up on his right, and then this, as he was trying to get the hogs in on the corn that he had spread on the ground, and then the Sasquatch jumped out, grabbed the biggest hog, slammed it, picked it up, slammed its head against a tree, and then looked up at the hunter in the deer stand and kind of gave him a growl, and then one behind the tree stand growled at him as well. And this gentleman, you know, being a military veteran and everything, nothing much really scared him, but he was up at that tree stand another 6-7 hours making sure they were gone before he came down and got the heck out of there.
That poor guy.
I joined the Marine Corps to get away from the Bigfoot.
I always tell everybody you joined the Marine Corps because you heard you wouldn't have to fight any skinwalkers if you were in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Sounds nice and safe and cushy. What, you don't have to get up at 0 dark 30 and run through guggly infested deserts and then fight skinwalkers? Sign me up.
Yep.
Very much works.
I was one of the monsters.
Did you ever encounter any monsters while you were in the Marine Corps?
No, only my drill instructor. That's probably about it. Because he told me he was from the Monster Factory, and then I was like, okay, there's other things out there that are more like that, like the dormitory aides that were in the government facilities. The ones that used to take care of us. And we always used to tease about it. The dormitory aides are the mothers of these drill instructors that you see in the military.
How long did you serve for?
I served for 4 years during the Gulf War.
Right on. Right on. Thank you for that.
No, thank you.
We appreciate that. Gentlemen, we only have about 1 minute left before we got to start getting on out of here. Duke, tell everybody about World Bigfoot Radio.
Alrighty, folks. Well, you can find me on YouTube. I have over 200 episodes on there, and I'd also like to encourage everybody to go over to all the new tech sites. Just go to any one of them, punch in the words World Bigfoot Radio, and one of my shows will come up. I'm on BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, Braids. Go sign up over there. YouTube cannot be trusted.
As we broadcast on YouTube right now. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you. We appreciate YouTube. And Mr. Caveman, where can people find your information?
There's still a site on Facebook called Hunting This Tree. I have all my information, and people like Jenny Christensen, Patsy Craig, they know how to get to those sites. If you're trying to look at what I have put in there. Right now, I'm off of Facebook, and I probably will start it back up after all the things that I'm doing right now.
Wonderful. Gentlemen, I want to say thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. An absolute pleasure to have both Duke and Caveman here sharing their Sasquatch stories with us. You guys hold on, because we got to start taking this thing home. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight on YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Spreaker, the Space Travelers Club on our website, and of course, Derek and the Snarkettes playing around on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, say it with me, we own the night, Mr. Bumblefoot. We need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night.